Hey everybody, welcome back to Welch's Math class where we are in Module 10, still talking about a little bit of algebra, solving equations. We are building our skills here to solve equations. And in fact, I think what we're ready for at this stage is what I call an equation solving checklist. It's a checklist of three different things you need to do, okay? 3 steps you need to look at or 3 things you need to check for in order to think about solving equations. And these things we've talked about to some extent already individually. Now let's put them together though. Alright, so if I'm going to solve an equation, okay, and it might be a long and complex equation, doesn't matter how long it is, how complex it is, if I go through these 3 steps, I should end up with a pretty good solution. No, actually with an exactly correct solution by running through the steps, as long as I was careful in doing each step correctly as I went. So first, when I'm solving an equation first, I'm going to check to see if I can simplify on each side of the equal sign. And the ways that I would simplify would be if there's any parentheses, multiplying through the parentheses, that's called distributing, and also by combining any like terms on the sides of the equal. So I would try to simplify on the expression on each side of the equal. Second, once I've simplified both sides of the equation as much as I can, second, I'll start transposing to get my like terms together that are separated by the equal. I want them to move to get to the same side together. And then finally, I'll use the multiplication principle to clear off any leftover coefficients and end up in the end with x equals my answer. Okay, let's take these steps and take a look at a couple of fairly straightforward equations and see how they're used on them. Alright, let's start off with the equation 2x minus 7, now that's an expression here, equals 21. Here's another expression here. So we've got 2x minus 7 as an expression equals 21 as another expression. Okay, so there's an equation for us. First, I want to look at the expression on the left side, 2x minus 7, and just I wonder if I can simplify that. Well, no, there's no parenthesis in it. There's no like terms. Can't take the 2x and the negative 7 and do anything with them together because they're not both x's or they're not both just plain numbers. They're different from one another. Okay, and there's nothing I can do over here either. 21 is 21. So I've checked off number 1 on my checklist, and so now I want to go to number 2, transposing. Well, I see my equals and I see some like terms. The negative 7 and the 21 are both plain numbers, so what I'd like to do now is transpose to get those 2 things together. I think what I'll do is I'll take the negative 7 over here with the 21. Okay, so when I do that, my first step in this solution is going to be 2x equals 21. Now it's going to be plus 7 when I transpose it. Take the negative 7 across, becomes a positive 7. Alright, so then that's 2x equals 28. Okay, so check number 2. Just checked off number 2. Now number 3, I'm going to use my multiplication principle to clear off any coefficients. Well, the 2 is a coefficient on the x. I'm trying to get the x by itself, so I'll take the 2x and divide by 2. I'll take the 28 and also divide that by 2. The 2's cancel. X is now isolated. This is a good thing. That's what we're after. And 28 divided by 2 is 14. So the solution to this equation, the number that we could put back up in here that would make this a true statement would be 14. That's my solution. I want you to pause the video and jump into working on the second equation, then we'll come back and do it together. Hey, welcome back. Glad you, hope you got a good chance to work on that one and get some things done with it. It's a little more difficult equation, so let's begin to kind of look at it together. First of all, looking at the expressions, I'm going to get rid of this. Looking at the expressions on each side of the equal, we got a 14 over here. Well, 14 is 14. We're not going to simplify that. And negative 5x plus 4, there's no parentheses there, and there's no like term, so we're not going to simplify that. So we check, number 1, simplify. We checked. Couldn't do it, but we checked, so that's gone. Next, we're into transposing. Now, with transposing here, we've got several ways we could transpose, but essentially, remember, we want to transpose to get our like terms together on the same side of the equal. So probably the best way, the simplest thing to do is to take this positive 4 and put it over there with that 14. Because the 4 and the 14 are like terms. Okay, so there's other ways you could have done this, but for me, I would have left the negative 5x over here on the right. I would have left the 14 exactly where it was, and it is a positive 14, and I would have pulled the positive 4 over here and made it a negative 4. Now I've got my like terms together by transposing, and I can go ahead and combine those like terms. So I'll get a 10 out of this. Positive 14 and negative 4 is a 10, equals a negative 5x. Now, I know some of y'all are bothered by having the x on the right side. It really doesn't matter. The x on the right side is fine. It doesn't matter if it's on the left or the right. What is a problem, though, is this negative 5. We need to now use our multiplication principle to get the negative 5 off the x. So how about divide by negative 5 here, come over here and divide by negative 5. So so what we've got now is we've divided the negative 5 off. We're left with the x. We still have that. We're going to work out 10 divided by negative 5. We'll get a negative 2, and that is the solution to our equation. I hope you got that one right. Hope it worked well for you. I want you to go back now to the practice problems you're working on. Do similar exercise and just work through some of these where you have to use a couple of different skills, in this case the transposing skill and the multiplication principle skill, to actually come up with a solution. And I'll see you next time.